Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to be showing you how to use ChatGPT 4 for any type of podcast scripts. So yes, you can consider this like an AI podcast generator. It's pretty simple to do. Let's get started right away. Here's the first prompt that I have. I need an outline for a podcast script. So that's pretty much where you want to start. If you were going to be writing an article or doing, say, a video script, I would start the same exact way. The topic of this podcast episode is going to be based around the benefits of outsourcing part of your online business. So that's all we need from now. If you wanted to start maybe with the title of it, you can always do that later. But as long as you have an idea of what the podcast is going to be about, you're going to be good to go. And since this is ChatGPT 4, it takes a little bit longer to actually get going and write the content. So I will be back when this is done. All right, so I don't know how long or short you want your podcast to be, but the cool thing about this is that I've noticed ChatGPT 4 provides you with a lot more content compared to the other, like 3.5 and 3, I think, which is good. So we have intro, defining outsourcing, reasons to do it, benefits, identifying tasks, choosing the right outsourcing partner, potential challenges and solutions, success stories, and conclusion. Like that's a lot of content. I'm not going to go through all of this because once you know how to do one of these, you're going to know how to do all of them, which is a good thing. So first, what we want to do is our introduction, and I already wrote it, so I'm going to paste it in. I need the introduction for this podcast script. Make sure that you, and I just copied and pasted this right here, briefly introduce the topic and explain the goal of the podcast to discuss the benefits of outsourcing and provide practical tips. So this is going to be our introduction script for the podcast. Let's roll with it. I'll hit enter, and I will see you in a few seconds. All right, so intro music plays beforehand, right? Welcome to another episode of Just Change That Around to Yours. I'm your name, and today talking about outsourcing in the world of online business. The goal of it is to discuss the numerous benefits in outsourcing and so on and so forth. This looks pretty good. I love intros that are just straight to the point. You know, this intro isn't going to last an hour, which I love, and that's cool. You can always extend it. You can always add more, but we got what we were looking for. So the next thing is going to be going through each and every single section of this, which I'm just going to do one because, like I said, once you know how to do one, you're going to know how to do all of them. So let's start writing more. All right, so all I did was write a few paragraphs about, and then I just copied and pasted all of this. I just, changed around the capital letters there, defining outsourcing. Make sure that you also talk about, and these are going to be the sections that are here. Now, something I want to bring up, just because ChatGPT gives you kind of like the extra skeleton to this, like the other parts you can mention, you don't have to use them. They're good ideas. They might work perfectly, but there might be something you want to specifically talk about when it comes to explaining the concept of outsourcing. Or maybe you have like this story that you want to mention about how you never used to outsource and then you did it. And then, of course, the concept of it was new to you and then you tried it and you loved it, whatever it's going to be, right? So keep in mind, you don't have to use exactly what they give you. I'm just doing that in this example because, we're using ChatGPT. Feel free to plug in your own information with that to really get some great output. So I'm going to enter here. And once again, I'll be back very shortly. All right, so we got a good amount of content. I am going to very quickly skim through. So at its core, we're delegating certain tasks. It's also important to distinguish between outsourcing and offshoring as they are confused with each other, talking about that. In the context of online business, there are a variety of tasks that can be outsourced, and it talks about a bunch of them. Like I said, if you want to include specifics, you can even talk more about that. Customer support, content creation, web development, social media management, administrative support, and so on and so forth. So that was very good. And here's going to be the template that I'm just going to put right here that you can utilize for each specific section. So we did the intro, we did defining this, and then we can talk about reasons to outsource. So write a few paragraphs about the reasons to outsource. Make sure that you also talk about all of this. Oops, not all of that. This one starting with A, okay? Next, write a few paragraphs about the benefits of outsourcing. Make sure that you also talk about this, and the same thing for all of them, okay? What I'm going to do is just quickly go to the conclusion, and I have a prompt for that too. So write a conclusion for this podcast script. Make sure that you, and then just right here, I didn't say talk about because it already has recapped benefits, encourage listeners to evaluate their own business needs, and direct listeners to additional resources and information on the topic. So once again, this is another good reason where you can be more specific. Where do you want to direct them to? Or maybe you have a website, maybe you have a webinar, maybe you have a free cheat sheet, an ebook, a video training course, a YouTube channel, whatever it's going to be, throw that in there. In fact, let's just change that right now. Direct listeners to your website where you can get a free guide on outsourcing, and let's hit go. I'll see you very shortly. Outro music fades out. I like how they put that there. Nice touch. So outro music. So as we wrap up today's episode, they're going to do a recap. Remember we said recapping there. Encourage listeners to evaluate their own business. We encourage our listeners to evaluate your own business. And of course, download your free copy. Head on over to our website, exactly as we talked about. And a little outro about thank you for joining. Until next time, take care. Happy outsourcing. And I hope you got some value out of this video when it comes to using ChatGPT 4 for your podcast scripts. Pretty simple process, like I said. If you have any other questions, or maybe I didn't explain anything thoroughly or it didn't make sense, feel free to leave a comment down below. But aside from that, my name is James. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.